Welcome to today's video where you and I are going to uncover the spiritual side of leadership. You see, most people and most leaders fall into the trap of strategy, living from the outside in. But unless you align with your higher side of your personality, unless you change your identity, it will feel like trying to drive forward with the handbrake still on. So let's make sure we avoid that mistake so that you can create alignment and thereby more freedom, more purpose, and more power in your life. Let's go. Maybe you can recognize this issue of running faster, trying harder, more coffee, more strategy, and progressively you start feeling more numb. You start feeling disconnected. You start feeling out of alignment. And if that is you right now, this is a great place to be because we're going to go deep into the subject today so that you avoid that trap going forward and reverse whatever path you are on if that is you. I remember a time in my life where I was living exactly that. The business had taken off. We had created great results. Looking from the outside in, everything was beautiful. Huge team, many clients, everything looked really wonderful. But on the inside, I didn't feel like that. And when I went to a retreat that I did at that point, this is back in 2022, everything changed because I got started working on me and my alignment. And out of that came one idea that I downloaded because now I was able to listen. And so I went from being overworked, completely out of alignment, just running in the good old treadmill to taking time out, really working on me. And today you will understand what that process looks like so you can go and do the exact same thing. But after having done that, I was able to download an idea, transmute it into form, and we'll get to that too, what that really means, and execute on it. And this was easy. This was in flow. It was something that actually ended up generating us over $1 million in a month. And it's not about the money either. The money is an expression of the service that we were able to provide all of a sudden to many more people than in the past, but in flow and in a flow state. And it was a beautiful thing to experience. And I'll never forget it. We weren't working harder. We were working from a different frequency. And you can do the exact same thing. You can get so good at running in your business and you just keep running and you are not even sure if what you're running towards is the right thing. That was me. It was some kind of strategy that I had locked into, completely forgetting that alignment piece. And so I had a person say a while back around the same time, he said, I'm so busy running, I'm just not sure if it's the right direction I'm running in. Now that should be a wake-up call. If you have that little voice inside that's questioning the direction and wondering if it even is worth it, and why you're doing the things you're doing, this is for you. So the first step here is to recognize that business and spirituality goes together. It's two sides of the same thing. So in this equation, we're taught that money is bad, or even worse, money is the root of all evil. Some of us have heard that. It's just not true. It's said in a good old book at one point that the love of money is the root of evil, but not money itself. Money is a neutral force. And here comes the point that I wanted to make about transmutation, that everything in this universe transmutes from a higher to a lower potential, like electricity. There's a spiritual, energetic side to our world that we can't see. Then there is the level where ideas originate on the mental level. That's where our mind comes into play. And then those ideas are then transmuted into physical form and around us in the physical results that we express. And so we look towards better results on a physical level, and we recognize that it's probably some business idea that's going to expand and help us create that result. But then the paradigm kicks in and says, that's not spiritual. But it is. If you truly understand what that word means, it's the energetic side of everything there is, and we're part of it. So if I'm a creative being, which I am, and you are too, and we're created in our creator's image. Now here's the problem. We created our creator in our image. We turn it into a good old guy in the sky, as opposed to, let's say, a creative energy that we're part of. So if I'm part of creation and I'm created in my creator's image, am I not here to create? The irrevocable answer would be, of course. So you're here to create better, richer, grander, bigger, whatever it is. So spirituality and business growth is two sides of the same thing. They're not two different things. They are two parts to the whole. So the more you work on you and spiritually develop yourself, the better your business will do. And so they're not two different things, they're two sides of the exact same thing. So think about this. We are a creative being. More growth demands more flow, more creativity, more alignment, and that is something that has to come out of you. So you have to align yourself more with that impulse for growth that is already within you. That is your imagination. It is said in that beautiful book by Neville Goddard, The Power of Awareness, that God in you is your imagination. So there is a creative side to you that is always urging full expression here on the physical plane. And that is the side of you we want to learn how to unleash better. But how could we do that if we are disconnected from that flow, you might ask? And that is exactly what this will help rectify. So we've been told that, like I said before, money is the root of all evil. It's not. Misalignment is misunderstanding what the purpose behind money is. Money is an energy like everything else. And with more growth, you're able to expand and enrich more people. And that's really what it's about. So we want to get that straight, that the more you create, the wealthier you become. But wealth is not always measured in money. Wealth is in ideas. And so the more you align yourself with that higher side of your personality, the more you're going to be expressing on the physical plane in the form of ideas. And then those ideas will have value to your fellow human beings. And then you'll receive an outcome for that. So the more you give, the more you will receive. That's an absolute law. So to sum this up, business is spiritual and spiritual is creation. So as long as we get that, we're on a really good path. So as we are understanding now that we are created in our Creator's image, you're here to create. You're here to create more value for the people around you. And that in turn will create more value for yourself. So how do we actually do this? How do you align with the higher side of your personality? Here's some simple tools you can apply today that absolutely will help you. So the first step is to ground yourself and get back in your body and start recognizing that creative center that is present within you right now. Abundance is your birthright. You have access to it right now. And one of the things you can do is to utilize my abundance meditation. It's completely free. It lives here on YouTube. We'll link to it here below. But with that meditation, you can align yourself with that state within you where all ideas come from. Now, the second step I would advise you to execute on is gratitude, because gratitude connects you with your source of supplies. So the more grateful you are, the more in tune you are with the infinite, and the more you are aligning yourself with the spiritual side of your personality. And you will find most likely that sometimes your intuition will nudge you in a certain direction after having done that, and your intellect and the strategies and everything else tries to pull you in a different direction. But it's very important here that you just listen to that inner voice, because it never fails. Our intellect will fail many times, but our intuition never does. So the more alignment you create here, the more you're going to be in tune with that voice. And that is where all creation originates. That's where the 10x jump in your results come from. That's how I went from struggling one month to generating over $1 million the next. It was not by doing more. It was about aligning more. And that's the key. You can even transmute low frequency states like frustration, anger, etc. into action and service. So maybe there's something that really pisses you off right now about something. Nothing cures that faster than action. Action towards something constructive. And so when you at the same time switch your emotional state to gratitude, gratitude for the lesson that it taught you, gratitude for the person that helped you elevate to a higher level of consciousness, that transmutes to a completely different state, and that will now be in harmony with the laws, and that will enable you to create much better results quickly. So a good friend of mine that teaches spirituality at a very high level, she explains that there's 4 stages to spiritual awakening. And the third one is seeing yourself more as a channel that this energy flows to and through. Because now you're not as attached as you were before if you thought that everything originated with you. If you saw yourself as the sender of everything, as the originator, now you're very quickly going to be attached to ideas and concepts coming through your mind. But if you see yourself as a terminal instead and let your intuition guide you as to whether or not those ideas will serve you or not, or the business that you service or the business of the clients that you service, the more you see yourself as that terminal, everything flows better and you're going to remain more non-attached. And that enables you to create that quiet place in your mind where you just observe and make decisions from. But making that from a non-attached place will elevate your thinking and your business to an enormous extent. At the end of the day, you are going to be either creating or you're going to be resisting and burning out eventually. So what we have to recognize is that there is either creation or reaction. When you're creating, you are more in tune with the perpetual transmutation of energy. You have connected with an idea, an outcome, a goal that is truly worthy of you. And from that frequency comes these intuitive hunches. And because you now created space in your day to actually listen, not to the outside world, to the inside world, you are able to act on those hunches and turn them into physical results on the physical plane, and that collapses time frames. That's how empires are built. But if you are stuck in reaction mode, constantly focusing on the world outside, it is, like I said before, trying to drive your car forward with one foot on the brakes. Nothing much is going to happen. In fact, you will create friction, not just in the brake clutches, but also in your own mind. That is where the biggest friction is going to come from, because on one hand, you have the spiritual, higher side of your personality urging expression, and you have the other side, which is the intellectual, strategic side, going, it doesn't make sense, it's not logical, and that's the linear side of your personality, and nothing messes up 10x results faster than that. So I hope this serves you. Make sure you get started on your daily regimen of transmuting ideas into physical form by utilizing the abundance meditation we've linked to, and also start practicing gratitude that hooks you up to your source of supply. So let's remember that business is creation and creation is spiritual. Make sure you fuse the two, and now go create, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye for now. Thank you so much for watching this video. I have linked to a couple more right here that I think you would like. Now, until next time, it's not who you are that holds you back, it's all the illusions of who you think you're not. This is Hansen. Thank you.